Hi guys, this is a re-edit of an old video I published about 2 years ago. After 2 years, some jerk decides to file a copyright claim and took away all my money. I've had about 30,000 views. I'd really appreciate if you watch it again so I can try to recover some of my funds that I've lost. Thanks.
So this was a PN50B450. It's a 2009 model. And these ones were actually considered to be a pretty good panel. So what's wrong with this picture? I was given this Samsung 50-inch plasma set. I know it's got a screen issue with it. And it's got a green line that runs down the picture. But the picture was full screen. And I just happened to move the set while it was running and it went like that. So the picture is squashed in to here. It doesn't matter what. I can go through the picture size, 16 by 9, wide zoom, zoom. You see? We've got a 4 by 3 picture. Literally we have a 4 by 3 picture. Something's gone haywire with this set, and it was working until I turned it off. I didn't even turn it off, I just picked it up. Other than the fact that it's got a line, one single green line in the picture's not bad, but now it's gone to this funny size. So let's take the back off this thing and see whether we can see what's causing this problem. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do on this set, before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure that the ground screws are tight, which they're not. They're all loose. Every one of them, I think, is probably going to be loose. And that's the first thing to check on any of these plasma sets, is to make sure that the ground tabs are tight, because this is what causes a lot of failure on these sets, is loose ground screws. So anytime you're working on one of these sets, the first thing you want to do before you actually get into anything else is make sure that the screws are tight, because loose ground screws, if you lose your bond, can cause failure of your module. So tighten them up before you actually even get in and do any tests. So as you can see, I've still got only a partial screen. When I change the channels, I'm only seeing a square picture. So before, and as you can see, the panel's got a problem. You can see that line. So this panel is shot. I was just hoping that I could salvage the boards out of this thing, but now it looks like we've got a logic problem too, because we're only getting a partial picture. First thing I'll do is I'll go into the menu, and I'm going to just go into look at the test pattern, self-diagnostics, look at the test picture, and see that the picture is also still present with the problem. Everything's compressed. So now it'll tell me contact Samsung, which I knew it was going to do. Before I do anything else, I'm going to turn the TV off. I'm going to turn it back on in service mode by pressing mute, 1, 8, 2, and power, and I'm going to just try a factory reset and see whether that will restore the picture. So now I've turned the TV on in diagnostic mode, factory reset. So options, I press OK, and press OK, and I've now factory reset the unit. We'll see whether that will restore the full screen for the picture, because some of those grounds were loose. And when I picked the TV up, it was running when it was sitting on the ground, and I picked it up to put it up on the bench, and it went small screen size like this. So factory resetting doesn't seem to have made any difference at all. So we have a problem with this thing. I go back into the service menu though, and I see the type, it's set telling me the TV is a 42HS PB3D, and that's not the model number of this set. This is a 50-inch. It's a 50 I think it's a 50HS4C. But we'll just change that setting, because And it's a PB450 panel. I think it's a 450, or is it a 4? Let's look on the back here. What does this thing say? Yeah, it's a 450. It's a 50B450. So we'll make sure that that says 450.
Again, to enter the service mode, you enter mute 182 and then power. And then I'm just navigating up and down using the up and down arrow keys and the OK key to select my option.
I'm just going to go through a few of the see what my test patterns look like here. Okay, cool. When I get the test patterns up, I get full screen. Config options. Pixel test. You can see it's moving the pixels up and down there. Okay. Advanced. I'm just going through some of the. That one won't even let me in. Expert. I think it was in there. No. Okay. We should. It should write this when I turn off the power. It should write any changes. Let's just see whether we had some settings that were incorrect. This, as I say, this TV was given to me, and I'm sure that the fellow that had it before me was probably monkeying around with it. Hey, ha 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 ha! We got our full screen back. That's weird because I had full screen when I was plugged it in. I had full screen, and I picked it. I say it was running, and I had full screen sitting on the floor, and I set up my work table. I picked it up to put it up on the table, and it went to that funny screen size, and nothing was touched. And then when I go into the menu and I find that in the setup, it's set up as a 42-inch panel instead of a 50. So just changing that back, that's changed the size of the aspect or the width of the screen. That's strange. We definitely still have a problem though with this panel. You could see the fault. That green line that you can see in the picture, that's actually a panel fault that's causing that. That's going to be one of the one of what they call the hot bar ICs, which are part of the tabs along the bottom of the panel. One of the ICs has failed. That's a common failure when a plasma panel is going to fail. That's usually how it fails. If it was a horizontal line this way, then that's buffer boards that cause that, because your buffer chips are on the side of the set and they drive line by line, but your address chips are actually part of the panel. So if you understand how a plasma works, the buffer chips pre-charge each line. Your X main and your Y sustain form the actual charge for the panel, and then each line is scanned one at a time, top to bottom, from the buffer chips. And as the voltage is turned on and off for each of the lines, the address grid, which is the wires on the back side of the panel that run vertically, they are what triggers the discharge. So we've got an address line here that has gone open and it's just firing at random. That's why you get the green lines. It's on the green subpixel drive that is not working. That's what's causing that green line. TV works other than the fact it's got a thin green line on it. And this might be just fine for a game TV or something that is not critical, because it's really not all that noticeable when you're watching it. Definitely all the screws on the back were loose, and that might have been what caused, in fact that's probably is what caused the mode to flip, was when I picked it up, when it was running warm, it flexed the chassis and it broke one of the connections, and that caused that panel size to be rewritten. Anyway, since there's not really anything to show on this is going to be one of my shortest videos ever, just to show you what how a panel failure can look on one of these plasmas. Let's go around. I'll put this thing into the test mode again and just go through some of the test screens so you can see the effect of it on solid test screens. Put up a red screen there, you can really see the green line right there. Green screen, well, on green screen you're seeing it as a black line. Blue screen you're seeing it as a green line. But it's interesting because when I put up the window chart, for example, it goes away. Right? After a few seconds it actually goes out. At least it did. But we'll just cycle through the different test patterns, color bars, crosshatch, dot, you can see it here on this screen. You can really see it on that screen there. That one shows it up probably as good as anything. So you can see the lack of green where there's supposed to be green, but you'll see the green noise on the other colors. Anyway, this set here is shot. There's nothing we can do on this thing. The panel is shot, so I just wanted to show you guys a symptom and point out, tighten up those screws, because I'm sure that loose screw is what caused this picture size to go screwy on this thing.